say good morning to anyone. The first thing they think is that you're knocking and they want to run. Police at war with civilians, and it's all because of them hooligans. Ain't no way to hide, ain't no way to run. How can we survive? This thing keep going on. They using guns and knives, they looking for a fight. To either do or die, protect your human rights. But around the corner, somebody's killing their neighbor. Trinidad Rio.
Merry New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is straight, die-hard, genuine, authentic Kaiso. And this is how the story goes. I went to public utilities and tell them, disconnect them facilities, because me want them. I tried to contact the ombudsman, but never in office. Are going to file me an injunction on the public service. Because every time a heavy rain fall, by me don't have no current at all. They spoil me TV, they spoil me fridge. They nearly kill me with low voltage. Now before they make me a lunatic, I'm going back to basic. I'm going and get a flambeau and lamp with wick. I'm going back to basic. I call my fans and I call my friends to let them know that if they have a message to send, tell Tempo. And if they come home and then you see me, tell me neighbor, or get a pen and a writing pad and write a letter. Cause the STT does make me weep. Gone are the days when old talk was cheap. I make a phone call to Talparo and I get a phone bill to Mexico. Oh my lad, before they kill me and kill me quick, I'm going back to basic. A piece of malling and two climpan wouldn't do the trick. I'm going back to basic. I went and buy me a motor car for my own comfort, because I can't take no more torture waiting on transport. But all them potholes and all them bumps, me car ain't able until they invent a car to jump. I go travel. I beg the Lord to please put a hand, touch the hearts of the spare parts man. I used to have a raise in the bank. Now every cent gone in me gas tank. Now I prefer roller with piece of sticker. I'm going back to basic. Or buy a 3-speed bike, go in tick. I'm going back to basic. Now the only competent source that really working is when you can't pay your bills on time. They come cutting. Incompetence and disregard ain't no humor. Cause the situation is sad for the poor consumer. Word water just give me gripe. I ask for water, they can give me pipe. I can't even get me clothes to wash. Me toilet full and can't even flush. Now they make me condemn me toilet bowl. Going back to basic. And now I dig in a latrine hole.
I'm going back to basic.
Trinidad Rio.
Yesterday, I went to the store to buy a cooler, then get my Indian partner next door to make a chula. I buy a donkey cat from Ramdeen to make a stagecoach, then put some Severin in my latrine to kill the cockroach. I buy a posy made in Hong Kong, the only silver posy in town. Well, if you see the latrine I build, y'all is the cleanest one on the hill. All down inside the hole and around the walls. I always splitting. You know why? To make sure cockroach bite me.
And a good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique once again. It is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Yes, indeed. Sometimes you just have to go back to basics, huh? Yeah, sometimes you just have to go back to basics.
Long time me, Gypsy and Kokoro. Back in the earlys, we used to go downtown after show.
So yes, indeed, we've got quite a bit to talk about tonight, but I'm opening the phone lines early. Yes, I'm giving you the opportunity to call in tonight. All right, 440-7377. We're still having, the board has been fixed, it's been sorted out and so on. Yes, I know the audio has been a bit low. I think I've raised it a bit there for you, so you should be okay now. But yes, so 440-7377. Let me hear from you, yeah? Let me hear what you have to say tonight. You know, in fact, you know what, bye? I think I'm gonna play a song for the Prime Minister. Yeah, I'm gonna play a song for the Prime Minister, you know. Yeah.
Once they had a competition for the most traveled Calypsonian. Everyone was shocked to see the finalist was far on me.
You know, some of you still complaining of the low audio. Let me see if that is something I can address here. It's clear, but it's a bit low, I know.
I wasn't entering the show, but something say go Rio go. I know I only wasting time, but I only follow in my mind. But look, my passport don't even got a visa in it, or something telling me Rio you could win it. Them foreign judges so incompetent. So say where you went, man. Say where you went. I went to Calpachima Point, Commander Mazalena, Canapena, Pagariga, Maturan, Nariva, and Balataria, Siparia, Balandari.
Yeah, I raised the audio a bit again. The problem there is that if I go too high with it, the distortions that you were hearing you will start hearing again. That's why, yeah, it has been a bit low tonight. Nice. Okay, so I have to be monitoring all the systems at the same time here.
People hail traveling man. From Caranage to Icarcus, well they just call me Columbus. Well look, I travel like Tarzan, I travel by plane. I travel almost everything you find. With two exceptions that I could explain, and that is minus boat and aeroplane. I travel down, I travel up like Chimborazo, put up taxi, double bus, omnibus, minibus, and maxi taxi, trolley, lawnmower, and tricycle, donkey cart, and motorcycle. I've been everywhere.
I think it pretty much should be okay about now. Yeah, I think you should be okay there now.
Around the mountains, around the hills, from the dry river to Williamsville. Roam every hotel under the sun, from the savannah to 101. Well, me a bragging, me a boasting, me a getting my head swell. There's two places I didn't go, that is heaven and hell. I traveled till I'm tired, as you people here could see, so I like me to sing the chorus with me. I went to San Fernando, Honorable, Monribodo, Kimodo, Elsigolo.
Okay, so that might be anybody else know that's the device. So there's some people tell me it's good now. All right, nice, yeah. So some people might have to check their device. Nice. Let me say a very special happy birthday to you, Sandra Pascal. I hope you're having a wonderful night, my dear. Yeah. Don't worry, I will drink a juicy cool on you tomorrow in tongue, girl. Oh, soda water, you know. Evelyn out there in Cherry Hill, don't feel I forget you. Yeah, her birthday was day before. So Evelyn in Cherry Hill, yeah, a belated happy birthday to you. I think we are the most traveling prime minister, you know, yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't entering the show, but something say go Rio go.
So I got the phone number 440-7377 because I kind of want to test out something there too, huh?
Time, but I only follow in my mind.
But I can only do so on the local line.
Well, look, my passport don't even got a visa in it, but something tell it.
Spent most of the day working on the system, yeah?
Judge is so incompetent, so say where you went, say where you went. I went to
So let me see who is on the live, and a special good night to all of you joining us on the live. Agnes Henry, Wilfred Antoine, Carl Jones, Shanron Thomas, Gavin Thomas, Alvin Harris, Gemma Warwood, Phyllis Mitchell, Sky, Adrian Watts, Mark Felix, Baby Daddy, Kathleen Ledlow, Janice Mitchell, Jacinta Livingston, Errol Bonaparte, Marlene Panchu, Maria Noel, Matthew Bowen, Jesse Sherry, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, Matthew Bowen, Faithlyn Halley Douglas, Deborah Laborde, Dominic Leroy. Let me see. Sherma Jeremiah, you and Zayla, good night to y'all. Maud Martin, Lydia Isaac, Jackie Raymond, Anna Lewis, Michelle Alexander, Veronica Lewis, Clive Raymond, good life, good night to you. Anna Lewis, good night to you. Sarah Lynn Jeremiah, Carib Spice, a special good night. Anastasia Peterson, good night to you. Alcy Peters, I see you there. And okay, yeah, Michelle was just telling them, nice. Jenna, I see you was it, nice, right. Hermina Baptiste Harrow, good night to you. Stephanie John, you, Natalia, Anita, Home Circle, good night. Jen, good night to you. And I'm see Vanessa Lalji is there. Jacket Man, I see you there, man. Harrow, all you like to interfere with me, eh? Christine Otley, Cynthia Bartholomew, Cindy Thomas, Kathleen Knights, I think I call you again, but I'm calling you again. Right, Kathleen Knights, good night to you. Keith Rowley. Yeah, right. Yeah, Keith Rowley. Yeah, right. Fitzroy Phillip, Jerome Lewis, Dennis Sandy. Good night to you. Raw Lewis. And I see Jillian Williams, Eliza Bernard, Beavis John. Good night to you. Kashima Roberts. And Ananias, right? Kelvin, good night. Claude Abraham, Dominic Antoine, the Chief Camahon. Right. Everybody's complaining about the low audio. All right, don't worry. I'll get that sorted out in a little bit for you. All right. Yes, I'll get that one. Beer. Good night to you, McEnroy Barry. Right. And let me see over on the Facebook. Let me see who is on the Facebook there tonight. William Charles, Dennis Fabio, Wallan Aquat, Carol Celestine, Yolan Mitchell, Moraine, Teresa Collimod, Landon Jane, Nakisha Jones, Tegwa, Annette Sincere, Donna Langdon, Veronica Frederick, Joan Henry, Adorable Gilbert. Yeah, oh, Cousin Levine, good night to you. Right, Shamin Ragba Singh, Evelyn Narayan, Wendy Ann McGuire, Nurse, good night to you. Shamin Ragba Singh, let me see, yeah, so I kind of get in the tab now. Yvonne Courtney with a lot of the messages about the audio. All right, Carla Walcott, nice. Carla, yeah, Jenny Seibert says our family tree in the public service right now. Who's the latest one? The Prime Minister have a sister that come and work in one of the ministries? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Sparkles Mason, good night. Betty James, good night to you. Glenda John, Claude Abraham, and Jackson. Yeah, right? Nice. Conroy George, good night. Not morning, good night. William Jakim, good night. Dwight Ferguson, Andrea Andrews, Maria Rennie, Enid Decoto, Martin Charles, and Marcel Hostin, Nicole Batson. All right, so a special good night to each and every one of you. I hope that you all are having a good night. Yeah. You know, Jakim just asked an interesting question. What is the status of the traffic lights? We've seen the traffic lights been set up. The traffic lights are there. All right. The former administration decided to retrofit because the previous set of traffic lights that were there, the company that used to do those traffic lights, it no longer exists. All right, so you had to have a new set of traffic lights that was organized. There were lots of people who was making noise about the traffic lights and so, but now we have the traffic lights set up. But for some strange reason, they're just refusing to turn them on. Yeah? You're seeing the cameras. You're seeing the camera points. You're seeing the traffic points. You're seeing all of this. And for some reason, they're afraid to turn on the traffic lights. Why? They're waiting on a special occasion to make it look like something that they did. Again, told you, these individuals, things are happening in spite of and not because of. So the member of parliament from South St. George could walk around like a foul cock all he wants for the entire day. At the end of the day, things are happening in spite of and not because of him. Yeah? So the traffic lights are there. For whatever reason, they've not turned on the traffic lights. I remember that there was a plan to have an entire system that was set up from the airport coming straight up to town. And then afterwards, with the road work that's being done and so, then you'd have had another system set up going up on the West Coast and all of that. That's the future plans that were in place for the traffic lights. So when they come telling them things, tell them you know that already, you know. That was there, that was in train already. So that's a good question though, Jakim. What is the system? What is happening with the traffic lights right now? Yeah? What is happening with the traffic lights? We're not hearing anything. We just seeing them there. They ain't even getting them a little test. They say, well, let me test them out on Sunday. Yeah? We're not seeing them being tested and so they've got the cameras on them, all of that. That was put in place by the new National Party. They've put up the traffic lights now. They've done the markings and everything, but for some reason, again, they're waiting to some special occasion for them to go and try and get some kind of political bonks off of it. Yeah, all you see, we put on traffic. All you put up nothing. It happened in spite of, not because of. Yeah? So just remember that, folks. When they start talking about we put up traffic lights and we do this and we do that, that's an achievement of the NDC. Again, I continue to say, I'm waiting to see what some ministers coming and say as achievement when they're reading their budget presentation. Because in your budget presentation, yeah, you'll say, well, I've done A, B, C, D in my ministry, but what are you going to say that you've done in your constituency? Yeah, I'm very interested. I want to hear what some of them come in to claim that they did. Yeah, I'm very interested. So I'm waiting with bated breath. And if all things go well, I expect to hear that we're going to be having the budget within the next 8 weeks. And at least within the next 8 weeks, we should have the budget being read. And then we'll be informed. I see the saying now that, because we did mention a couple nights ago that you can expect an increase in the property tax. Then I saw that the government, because they're listening to talking points. The PS can't help it. You must listen to talking points. None of them, they can't help it. They're listening to talking points. They like to hear what you all have to say in relation to things. So I saw a release coming out from them in relation to the property revaluation exercise. And they're saying property, let me read it. The Ministry of Finance announces the successful completion of the property revaluation exercise conducted by the Valuation Department of the Inland Revenue Division, consistent with government's commitment in the 2023 budget statement. We did tell you that it was stated within the budget that the evaluation process would take place. It has now been completed. The primary objective of this comprehensive revaluation initiative is to ensure that property values reflect their current market value. The last comprehensive revaluation exercise was done in 2001, approximately 22 years ago. Property owners in Grenada should anticipate receiving a notice of taxable value shortly. This notice will provide property owners with the current market value assigned to their properties by the Valuation Department as of December 31st, 2022. Right? So that's as at the end of last year. I don't know if it's a mistake, but I'm reading it as they have it. Property owners in Grenada should anticipate receiving a notice of taxable value shortly. This notice will provide property owners with the current market value assigned to their properties by the Valuation Department as of December 31st, 2022. It is essential to note that the revaluation of properties does not inherently lead to an increase in property taxes, as the government retains the flexibility to adjust property tax rates to maintain consistent tax levels beyond compliance with legal requirements. In other words, they're saying that not that what we said is wrong, they're saying they may do something to keep property values at the same, property tax at the same that you're paying right now. Now, if they're doing that, that is a decision that they will have to announce that they are doing, because you pay property tax, you pay land tax based on the value of the property. So if the value of the property increases, therefore, when they're doing the calculation to calculate property tax, if the increase takes place in relation to the value of the property, it means that the property tax will increase. If the government is saying here, because they say they're using very ambiguous language. Hear what they said again. It is essential to note that the revaluation of properties does not inherently. So in other words, it does not necessarily. So maybe because we talk now, they decide, hey, what, we can't touch that one, go on, increase property tax, boy. Yeah, increase property tax. All you have to pay 214 people money down there for property that they have down there. Increase property tax, go on. Yeah, all you have to find at least $56 million to go and pay the people with Kimpton by Kawana down there. Yeah, the people who invested in that, the 214 people that invested the 56 million US that you're just dancing around and trying to shift people from talking about. Yeah, that $56 million. So anyway, they're saying it does not inherently. So they are not saying that we are wrong. They're saying that the possibility is that you, who are paying one amount right now for the last 22 years in relation to the value of your property, may very well find yourself paying more. Yeah? If they have decided that they are going to restrict it, if they have decided that they are going to keep it at a particular price, then that is up to them. But they can't say that how is not true and they're not going to increase property tax and that kind of thing. No. Just tell people, yes, according to the calculation, if the value of the property increases, yes, property tax increases. We did not tell any lies here. We spoke facts. If the value of the property increases, then the taxes increase on it. If you are saying that you are going to restrict, you are going to place a plug, you are going to put a cap on the value, on how much you're going to charge in relation to taxes on property, say that. But don't try to make it look like we come here and we say something that is not correct. Right? Nice. Beautiful. Special good night to you, Mr. Hudson and Mrs. Maureen Macphill. Hope that you all are having a wonderful night tonight. And there's a lady out there in Grand Mall. I must say a special good night to this lady out there in Grand Mall. Yeah? Let me just make sure. Let me see. Where's that one here? I have that one somewhere. My goodness, what have I done with it? Yeah, there's a lady in Grand Mall that I have to make sure that I say a special good night to, you know. Yeah, I'm going to find it in a short while, and I'll make sure that I do that. Folks, the phone lines are open, 440-7377. As I said, yeah, this song continues to be dedicated to our Prime Minister. Eh? Yes, let me say a special good night to Mrs. Orny. That's out there in Calabash Alley in Grand Mall. A special good night to you, Mrs. Orny. Yeah, I hope that you're having a wonderful night tonight. Or I will see you sometime during next week. Yes, ma'am? Yes, I shall be seeing you during the week next week. Right? I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful night tonight. And you know, last night we spoke about the situation at the Princess Alice. And let me just play for you all the news from, I think it's, I'm not sure if it's last night or tonight. But let me see if I can find. Oh my goodness. That sneeze catch me out of the way there. Right, let me just play this one for you. It is from a MTV news broadcast that took place tonight. So let's just listen to this one.
The notice circulating on social media reads, "Only accidents and emergencies will be seen as we are currently severely short-staffed. Thank you for your understanding." In investigating the authenticity of the note, MTV News contacted Health Minister Jonathan Lacrette, who stated that he's unable to give an official comment, but instead referred us to Mava Primus Joseph, administrator at the Princess Alice Hospital. When contacted, Ms. Joseph stated that she's unaware of the situation and suggested that we contact Permanent Secretary Naomi Jeremiah. Efforts to contact PS Jeremiah proved futile. On Tuesday, MTV News gave citizens a chance to share their views on Grenada's healthcare, and some cited the need for additional nurses at the Princess Alice Hospital, while others called for a cooling system at the General Hospital.
There's a lot of work to be done to improve that healthcare. Because right now it's out there working. You know what I mean? The healthcare road proper, man. We do nice. They need some work to do on that. Because I know it's not the amount of doctors, some of them might just have 2 doctors and have 100 patients.
Yeah, for real. You need a little speeding up, because if you go up there now, you have to spend so much money and nothing happening. You have doctor, so then for real it should be a little better than how it is right now. Yeah.
When things set is, Last week I went and do surgery on my hand, and I had no problem. I get excellent treatment from the American and them. Well, what I would like to see is more nurses, more, especially you see Maribo. Maribo needs some attention. You will go in Maribo and spend the whole day, and you still don't see doctor. Because I had a case where last week I sent a young lady up there, and the police van ended up bringing the young lady there. And the young lady stayed there from about after 10 up to 4 o'clock with pain, nothing to eat. And she had us to leave and come back down Grenville, no attendance.
Up there in the hospital, and I know there's a lot of mothers and patients, and the heat, they're crying out a bit with the heat. So if they could improve on the cooling system up there, maybe more AC or bigger air conditioned units, yeah, that would be cool.
In a recent interview with MTV, trade unionist Brian Grimes also lamented the island's healthcare system.
And I would just want to go on record as my position. I don't think healthcare has remained the same. I don't think healthcare has improved. I believe firmly, based on my observations and listening on the ground and so forth, healthcare has depreciated.
Our news desk was unable to ascertain when the notice was posted, but sources reveal that staffing is a major issue at the Princess Alice Hospital, with occasions where there are only 1 or 2 nurses on duty in a particular department. Keishon Thomas, MTV.
So yes, folks, you've heard it there. In relation to the situation at the Princess Alice Hospital. And then you heard the runaround that MTV was getting, yeah. So they call the minister. The minister, you know, the minister say, call up there, call Princess Alice, call the administrator up there. They call the administrator up there, the administrator saying, call the PS, and then they couldn't reach the PS. Yeah? So they run around. They're getting the run around. And as the minister, I thought the minister, well, no, we remember what he was, yeah, I'm not going to repeat it now, but remember what he was busy doing, right? Yeah, so they call the minister, they're asking the minister a simple question. What is the situation at the Princess Alice Hospital? You're telling me you're a government minister, you're being paid by the people of Grenada to carry out a particular job, and a very important, a very serious matter like that, you don't know, you're too busy handing out ball all over the place, balls left, balls right, ball over the place, but you don't know what's going on in Princess Alice? You do not know if there's an issue when it comes to... Let's take this call. Hello, good night.
Good night, how are you?
Yeah, I'm quite fine. You're right, go right ahead, you're live.
All right, okay, listen me. I heard Jude Bottomlenu today making a statement and say 4.5 years the school didn't repair. But this is not a matter. Government is a continuous thing. And this is not about the government that was there before. This is it. You ask for the tools to do the work. You ask the people to give them a chance. We give them a chance. So we don't want to hear about the next government that passed before. We want to know, do the people work they pay?
Hold on, my brother, before you think. He said it wasn't repaired in how long?
What, 4.5 years or even more.
So when you look at 4.5 years, you have to take out 2020. You have to take that year out, isn't it?
Right.
That's COVID year.
Right.
So major construction and that kind of thing was taking place that year. You have to take out 2021 as well.
Right.
Who was responsible for the majority of 2022 is this administration.
That the school have a the place fested is roach. They didn't tell you want repairing. They say you have a roach. You could make children sick. That's what I'm trying to say. So what
also, you're speaking about the St. David's Catholic Secondary
School. Yes, give me another chance. I want to express myself again.
No, talk. Go ahead, man.
I remember when NNP was in office. I couldn't remember what year that was, but that was a disaster year. And I know the government, what was there before, that is NNP government under Dr. Kit Mitchell. I know he cut workers' salary. I know he cut all of them salary and then he put it back up when things start happening. So I don't understand why this man and them just not doing what they're supposed to do. The housing thing again. The housing thing in currently. I don't know. We didn't want people get money to buy a whole house. Better they rent it out. You have a hotel coming there. Better they rent it out for people who want around to stay and make money off that. Because we didn't want people, and they know fully well the bank will turn down based on what you're working for. They would not give you a loan to that. So they need to fix this problem. We put them there to fix problem. Fix it. We don't want to hear about Kate Mitchell anymore. This is the work they get to do the work. If they can't do it, just move out. Just move. Just go. They cannot do the work. Just say they can't do it. Grenadier don't want to hear that. Because I don't need to eat 4.5 years. I need to eat every day. I need to sleep every day. And during election, I continue to say it. I see these guys and them, and after election, I haven't seen them. So are they waiting for 4.5 years to come by me and ask me for vote again? I seen Oliver more than them, and Oliver not in power. Where is them? Where is Mr. Deacon? Where is Andy Williams? Where is these guys and them? I'm not seeing them. Where is Karen James? I haven't seen them. I just not seen them only in budget. When budget launching, that's the only time I see them. They need to come better than that because I'm waiting on them. I'm waiting. Patiently I'm waiting. Good night. Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you. And I'd just like to say one or two things on what the caller said. Now, one, if they're talking about the last 4.5 years, you have to take out, remember, 2020 out of it. Yeah, 2021, that is out of it as well. Because we had the major outbreak where we had a lot of deaths in relation to COVID-19 took place in 2021. 2020, with a lot of unknowns in relation to the COVID virus and so on, and development of vaccine, all of that, you did not have a lot taking place in relation to construction, right? Same with 2021. 2022, you went into elections, and the majority of the year, it was the National Democratic Congress that was in office, right? And this year, it's the National Democratic Congress that's in office so far. So if he's talking about the last 4 years or so, he's trying to give us an Andy Williams when he's talking about implementation. Because like Andy Williams think we stupid when he's talking about implementation rates over the last few years. Totally ignoring the fact that you had 2020 and 2021, which in the whole world, even maybe outside of this planet, people know was COVID years. So there was nothing that could have been done significantly during that period of time. It's the first time the world went into that sort of panic lockdown kind of situation in relation to a virus since the early 1900s with the Spanish flu. I think that was 1910, 1909 or somewhere there? Yeah. So I don't know where they're going with that one. We've got a caller online. Good night.
Good night to Mr. Sherland Scott, and good night to the Grenadian people home and abroad. Well, my problem tonight, I'm in sympathy with the people in St. Patrick's Hotels. I just left the terminal, and the amount of people that the Hotels people, Victoria people, wow. And Grenville must just have to come. What I want to say is to Mr. Prime Minister, my name is Camille Theresa Scott. I think by now you know that name, because I know people just tell you about it. And Mr. Andy Williams, Miss Gloria, and all the rest of ministers. These are people that come out to work. And I'm begging all you, I don't beg all you for nothing, but I'm begging on the behalf of these Grenadian people, working people that come from work, and they cannot get bus to go home. The bus terminal. These people bring money in the bus terminal, sir, because they're paying bus. They're making money in that bus terminal, and the people cannot get bus to go home. So I am pleading on the behalf of the Grenadian working people to get bus to go home, because when they reach up now, they have to get up again, they just going and turn to come back down, and it's not right. So Mr. Andy Williams, they say, the talkers on the street say you're the honest man in the NDC party that does do things. So I'm calling on you, Mr. Andy. Try and get buses. When people come out to work, they could go home. They live in hotels. I am begging on the behalf of the people of Grenada that work hard. This is not people, sir, that come online. These are working people, and they want to go home. They want to go home and take a shower. They want to go and take a supper. They want to talk to the children, help the children to do their homework before they go to school, go to bed. I'm begging on you all. And the reason why some buses not coming back down because of the condition of the road. Try and fix the road on that side. For me, please. Them men and them complaining about the tire and the divorce and this and that. Try. I'm begging y'all. And the next thing again, I want to thank all the people that come and support to buy the Talking Point jersey. Thank you very much for supporting Talking Point. And the Mr. in America, my friend, that sent me the 2 ointments, thank you very much, my friend. Because I cannot buy this ointment in Grenada, so I am thanking you very much. And it's hard time. I ain't lying at nobody. Right now, the pressure is on. And nobody will kill me. I'm not going to take on the Dick Mitchell government for me to get struck, for me to get fall long and dead. I just want God to keep me around, to live, to see the outcome. Good night to everybody. That is my plea tonight. Mr. Dick Mitchell, as the Prime Minister of this country, please try and get buses for people to go home. I see the nurses in the Monday. I see them outside now, and I see a union lady talking. You know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. All I have to take care of me. I don't want to take on all you. Good night.
All right, Gary. Yes, indeed, 4407377. Remember to like and share the program. Like and share the program. Yeah, I know I'm telling all you. Like and share. Let me see. Yeah, what you only done past 700 days. Yeah, let me see. Like and share the program. Oh, let me take this call before I get onto that one. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
Hi, brother Romain.
Yes, boss. Good night.
You see when you spend so much time around a person, by the time they just open them out, you just know it's them.
Good night to all your listeners and viewers.
Brother,
Talking Point.
No, I'm glad you called because the issue of pest management came up. And I know that you played a role in relation to pest management. What obtained in relation to pest management under the last administration?
Okay, well, what I can tell you is that former Minister of Education, right, MP Emily Pay, right, after some lengthy discussions with her a number of years ago, somewhere around either just before COVID or somewhere there, and the whole question of the maintenance of the schools when it comes to pests and so, like termites, bats, rats, ants, roaches, that discussion came up. And she basically told me to come up with an idea or a proposal, right, where you can go and basically do an inspection of all the schools, right, and see what needed to be done, and make a proposal to the ministry, and they will take it from there. And well, I did that, and after a number of months, couple of months after, they did get back to me, and through the Ministry of Works, and I started doing some pest management within a number of the schools in St. Andrews, St. David's,
and what
St. Patrick.
Again, let me stick here. You were doing pest management, which means you were going to check before and not being called when, okay, we have a rat problem, call Devon. But you were going and making sure you were checking, you were treating, you were going and checking different things like that. So there's a process that you were going through.
Yes, that's exactly how it was done. You will go and when we visit every school, we will question from the principal to teachers, those in the kitchen, the maintenance person, and ask them what are the problems that they are facing, during school times or whatever, and they will tell you, okay, we have a rat problem, so we have problems with ants and that sort of thing. So we wouldn't wait. We didn't used to wait and until they call. After that, right? We had set up a system where we would visit a number of schools per week during the month. For example, St. David's, and so we did the primary schools in St. David's. We even did the secondary school, right? Part of it in St. David's, and we continue on in St. Andrews, St. Patrick's, one or two in St. George's, and so so yes, a system was put together, right, by the Ministry of Education based on the information that I obtained and I sent to them, and we were able to basically go to the different schools, set up a schedule, go to the different schools, treat it, and so for ants, most of the basic problems usually would have been ants, sometimes roaches. A lot of them had termites, and so, but was not major, and so we were able to control them as much as possible. So yes,
because I know
the
former minister I know is very, very proud of the work that you did, going around to the different educational facilities and ensuring that you managed the situation when it came to pests and so on. So it wasn't a situation that you sit there and then somebody come and say, Lord, we have a roach infestation here, a bug infestation, or a rat infestation, that we need Devon to come. You went, you checked, you make sure, listen, you set your traps, you do what you have to do. So you were going through a process of management and not just pest control.
And the thing about it was, well, it would have been nice for it to continue along the line, because we were not able to attend to all the schools. Mm-hmm. And so, but a majority of the schools in about 4 or 5 of the different parishes, and mm-hmm. that was the way that the Ministry of Education wanted the thing to go. Instead of waiting for the rats or the ants or the roaches to take over, they will basically manage it, visit them as often as possible, once a month, sometimes twice a month, and so, or we will communicate with the principal, and so, or make a pass around and just do an inspection of the kitchen and question the cooks and so. So you will have a basic idea as to what needs to be done and how you can prevent these things from, mm-hmm. creating problems.
Yeah, because you're also talking about the health and safety of the children attending these facilities and the staff that are attending these facilities, which is why I would understand why the president of the Teachers Union is speaking. But when he's speaking, at least he needs to do so from a point of knowing what he's talking about. Because I didn't think he too know about this one,
No, I didn't think much of them knew about it. You see, the persons the schools that we dealt with, they were able to tell you, and look, yes, there were times when this gentleman came around and we treat around the school for termites, and so we basically were doing preventative measures. Mm-hmm. Schools that were already infested with termites, we would attend to it. We would tell them, look, we cannot do anything in terms of treatment. They need to take out the ply. They need to remove this, remove that, and mind you, during that time, while we were doing that, there were a number of schools under repair, right? There were schools that were under repair, and some of the contractors will say, well, look, we have a problem with some termites, and so could you come and, So it was a work in progress, and so you couldn't say it was the best, but we started doing something to ensure, especially the schools, right? They were properly maintained and so. And I think that was the best way to go.
Indeed. And let me say a special good night to Ashley out there in Los Angeles. I see that you're locked in, and my good friends in Texas, I see them locked in as well. But Devon, you know what, man? Give your number just in case there are people out there that they may have pest control issues. and they want to contact you, make sure and give your number now so that people can contact you.
Well, yeah, if you have any problem, especially, well, right now you have a serious problem with bats and termites and that sort of thing, even rats. All right, so just get in touch with Mr. Romain, 403-2652. That's 403-2652. And we have a discussion. You may have problem with bats and so inside of your roof, right? One of the things I always advise homeowners to do, you have a house, you put on a brand new roof, let's say 5-10 years ago. One of the things that they don't do is to do a maintenance of the roof. And when I say maintenance, there are times you need to open up your roof and clean it, treat it, and give it an extra 5-10 year lifespan. And so, there might be bats and so inside the roof, right, messing and peeing and creating a health hazard for you in the rooms and so. So these are things that you need to pay attention to, right, especially with things that you spend a lot of money on, your roof. And so when it comes to termites and bats.
So let me ask this question though, Devon. We have a lot of people that are out in the diaspora right now listening from the UK and the US, North America, all over, listening to tonight's program. What about those who have their homes here and mostly locked up? They come once a year. Sometimes they don't come for the year until the next year they come and then it open up and that kind of thing. What would you suggest for them?
Well, I would suggest to them if they have someone here who may be looking at it periodically, but they should have, especially for pest control treatment. And so, for example, I'll give some example. When your house is locked up for 3-4 months, sometimes 6 months, unattended, bats, termites especially, these two tend to invade because no one is there to basically turn them away, right? And so I would advise, especially persons who own homes and not living here, right? Open it up. Every so often you have someone, every once a month, twice a month, open it up, give it some air. Pay attention to the surroundings for termite trails and that sort of things. All these things is very important. And I would advise you to give me a call, 403-2652, and I can go do an external inspection if you want to, right? And advise you as to what you can do to help prevent bats, termites, and these things from invading your home. Because you spend thousands of dollars investing in your property, and you don't want to leave it unattended without proper maintenance and that sort of thing. All right? So you're interested, give me a call. It's free of cost. I will go take a look at it, tell you what needs to be done, give you a quotation and everything like that. Don't be afraid. Use my number.
All right, my brother. I want to thank you so very much for that. And again, for that initiative that Honorable Emlyn P. and yourself came up with to deal with this issue, to see that, hey, this is an issue that could cause some, not only discomfort, but other problems. Because if a rat eat your electrical lines, you know what's going on, huh?
Yeah,
if you have rats and they nibble your electrical lines, you could have fires, different things.
Exactly.
So it's
important. A serious thing for the schools is the bats. No, you don't want the bats to be invading the schools, flying in and out of the schools and letting go bat feces. That is dangerous for the health of the students and the teachers in the schools, right? So you want to ensure that you keep bats away from inside of the school and from in the roof itself, right? By doing that, you will definitely, create a much cleaner and healthier environment for our children.
Of course. Devon, before you run off, what is the situation now, though? Do they have somebody doing that? Do they have someone doing a similar program to the one that was developed by yourself and Honorable Emlyn Pierre? Does the Ministry of Education, as far as you know, have a program like that going on right now?
Well, I can't say that I don't think so, because I've been moving around over a couple of months and so on, trying to figure out, if they have someone doing. I would advise them, if you don't want to call me or so, there is a particular, there is a template of what myself and the minister and Mrs. Ruth, right, Miss Ruth Charles, we sat down and came up with a plan as to how, right, we would, do that, school maintenance and so. And so if they don't want to call me, but I think it's something that they should look at, pay attention to, and ensure that you have pest control professionals going inside and taking a look every so often at our schools.
All right. Okay, my brother. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to give us a call.
Well, you most welcome, and it's so important in sharing this type of information. It's not all about money, but it's all about ensuring that your environment is being taken care of, and that's what thing. But Sheldon, just before I go, though, I want to just talk about that October 19th whole scenario. I am glad that
I was afraid to ask you about that. You just cry. And people probably, people probably think I'm joking, right?
Like that, right?
People probably think I'm joking, right? No, he actually does break down and cry.
No, because you see, it's something that is dear to my heart, very close. When you were that close, inches away from being killed and so by bullets and so, it's something, and you watch people die in front of you. It's something
Devon,
that you not all the time want to recall.
Devon, but, you're wrong. You're wrong to bring it up, because I'll go ask you a question. But go ahead with the point you want to make.
I just wanted for our persons to focus on what went on right on October 19th. Every year we continue reminding people of the importance of that day, right? Let us teach our children the history. Those of us who know, let us speak out. Let us share the information, right? Let us be truthful, right, of what went on and everything like that. And let's not try to water it down. And I'm glad that the powers that be listen to myself and a lot of others like Porgy Cherubin and Brian Lindsay and Miss Grenade and everybody like that who came out and say, Dr. Morris came out and said, look, that is not the best thing to do. And they have listened. So I must give them kudos for that. And don't take something that is so important and try to basically water it down. But I would say I give them a suggestion. And so, Sheldon, and let's give me a few minutes. Remember on the 3rd of December 1984, what happened in Grenada?
General elections?
Right. Now, general election was held, right? That was the return of democracy, right? Mm-hmm. Constitution and everything was restored and everything like that. No, you had a wide variety of, basically all the political parties engaged in that. And it was a successful, exercise, returning Grenada, as we call, back to democracy. I think that if they really wanted to celebrate our independence or start a celebration, a date like that, which happens to be a Sunday this year, would be a very good day to do that, because you would show Grenada that, look, after independence, we had a revolution, right? We cannot hide. And then October 19th came along, the 25th, right? And right after that, the interim. But on the 3rd of December 1984, Grenada was returned to democracy, thus enabling us to move on to our 50th year of anniversary, celebrating, right, our independence for the next 40 years in a peaceful and democratic way. That was just my suggestion. So we can use that, because you see, we had a lot of the politicians who have been leading Grenada in the last 40 years was involved from 1984, from Dr. Mitchell, even Sir Eric Matthew Gary, the Brizan, right? Nicholas Buffett, Tillman Thomas, Finley St. Louis, Kenny Lal Singh, right? Nimrod. Basically, the full works, they were involved in getting and in returning Grenada back to democracy. So I think if they really wanted to celebrate or to start that celebration of independence, that date should be really thought of. And so, and lastly,
Dino last second,
I know
second
you
to
want to
last.
ask some questions. I've been, well, hopefully there might be an opportunity where I will be able to go and speak to one or two persons, perhaps in a school coming up around the 19th, and just to share my experience. And so with the whole October issue, try my best to enlighten people. I don't know everything, but I can give my experience of what I see right in front of me on that day. So I'm always looking forward, especially to around October 9th. It's a sad day, and so when you remember it, and so, but I think I have the strength to face people and let them know, what it is all about.
So
yes,
Devon,
Sheldon, tell me.
my question to you is, on October 19th, were you in the ops room with Prime Minister Maurice Bishop?
Yes, I was.
How you reached there?
Well, it was a long story, but I'll tell you.
I've got the time, brother.
Huh?
I've got the time, and I'm sure the nation would like to hear.
After Maurice Bishop was freed from Mount Welldale by the demonstrators, the masses, and so right, he was taken, and so from the house onto a truck and then onto a vehicle right in front of the Berean Church, right there, right. It was a green Mazda car. I think it was the late Charles David's car, the father of Peter David, right, his car, and they took him, they led him down to Lucas Street. By the time I reached down to Lucas, because the crowd was saying Market Square. I don't know who organized it or whatever, but that's where they were heading to. And by the time I reached down there, and so persons were saying they brought Maurice Bishop up to the fort. Well, I was a soldier at that time, dressed in civilian, so I head up to the fort. And my first instinct was to get close to the military persons who were in charge of the fort and, to know exactly what was going on. And that's how I ended up there.
So what took place in the room? Who was in the room?
Well, wow. In the early part of it, when the demonstrators and persons came up on the fort, there were a number of persons passing through there, in and out, perhaps in hundreds. But at the end of it all, there were, I can say, at any one point in time, there would have been around 40, 50 persons in both rooms. There were the operation rooms, and then there were a room where you would have, like the general staff would meet, and so, two basic big rooms. And there was a door that joined both of them. And so within, at any one point in time, you'll get anyway more than 50 persons there inside of that room. And so, there, basically at that time, now I can say, well, that was the operational room for the members of the persons who freed Maurice Bishop and those who basically take control of the situation at that point in time. They were using there to ensure that everything was moving smoothly. But at the same time, though, there were a number of senior military officers on the fort in the other room, and they were not playing any major role because their weapons, they were asked to hand up their weapon, with the exception of one, that's Bogman, Lieutenant Police. he and myself were the only two persons that had weapon and soldiers in that room there. But I wasn't giving up mine anyways and everything. But the other soldiers, like from Stroud to Prime to Redhead and those guys, they gave up their weapons and so on. They were all sitting in one room. While the crowd, everybody was moving in and out and everything like that. So it was a whole set of things going on. You had where at one point in time, while Maurice Bishop was there, a whole group of nurses came up, put him sit down and so, because he was basically not himself. He had through excitement. Some persons say he was drugged while he was up on Mount Welldale in the under house arrest and everything like that. And but what I know for sure, that he was basically not himself. He's still after perhaps when the nurses came, they give him either some injection or medication, whatever. And within a couple of minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, he started recovering himself. I remember one nurse in particular, the former Minister of Health, Ann Peters, was one of them for sure, And yeah, he began, recovering and sit there and start discussing and chatting with everybody else. And there was a whole heaping set of discussion. So it was difficult to pinpoint one, or the other. But in that room, it was, yes, I had the opportunity to be there, but sometimes you wish you were not there based on what you heard and what went down. So,
what stands out most of all to you in what you heard while you were in that room?
Well, one of the very interesting things, a couple of them, but I mentioned them in sequence. One of the first things that Maurice Bishop did when he started speaking to persons, that he called for the senior officer or the duty officer, one who was responsible for the fort, right, at that point in time. He called for him, which was Major Stroud, right? He was the most senior officer up there. Called to him and tell him, he said, look, accompanied somebody, I think it was Einstein Louison, and somebody else, accompanied them and to the armory, get all the soldiers, take the weapons from them, put them into the armory, lock it, and return the key to me. And Stroud did exactly what Maurice Bishop asked. Right? He was accompanied by one or two persons. He did that. When he returned, and so he came up to him, and what was surprising, somebody told him to give them the key instead of giving Maurice Bishop. Right? That was Vince Noel. And he said, no. He said, the commander-in-chief gave me an order, and that is what, I will do. But anyhow, that day, and he gave it to Maurice Bishop. What happened afterwards, it's a thing. Another thing that stand out to me, and I became very troubled, was when a particular phone call came in from deceased Commissioner Sen Bernard. He was Ian Sen Bernard. He was then the Commissioner of Police at that time. And he called at the foot of the ops room. And I think it was 100% sure, but it was Vince Noel who answered the phone. And he was speaking loud. And a number of us was close by, some of the senior officers. And the conversation on our end was that apparently he was asking, for some clarity by Sen Bernard or what's going on the fort, if everything is all right. And the response that was given to him by the person in the room was that the best thing for you to do, they were telling the Commissioner of Police that the best thing for you to do at this point in time is to report to the nearest police station and surrender yourself. that in itself, when that was said, brought shivers to me because I stood there and I watched the other senior officers there and they worried on their face. And I was like, as a soldier myself, I begin to be worried. And they hung up the phone, basically. And at that point in time, things start basically going down, in my view, in the ops room.
Next question for you, because people are listening, and the reason I'm asking these questions, I want people to understand the day, what happened on that day, that a group of people in this country decided they wanted to go and put a fet on. Devon, who fired first?
Wow.
Did the first shot come from on top, or the first shot come from below?
Well, over the years, in interviews and in talking to persons, I've consistently said that the first two shots that I heard from where I was sitting inside that ops room, right? The first two shots that I heard that fired came from a pistol. And it was a Makarov.
So
two shots, pow, pow. And then one of the senior officers inside, I think it was Hippolyte, turned around and asked, who is firing? Who fired that shot? And within a matter of seconds, you heard a short burst of automatic fire. Pow, pow, pow. Pow. Right? It was both from the below and from on top in the ops room. Right? And I guess it was triggered by those two shots that were fired, because after that I understand that one out of those two shots that were fired was responsible for the life of Officer Connie Mills.
That's from the handgun shots that you heard?
Yes. Right? He was struck in the groin, and he died later on in the hospital. Right? And then that's where after that you start hearing the different gunfire, and so there were about 3 soldiers that got shot on the BTR. One was Mason, young soldier, warrant officer from St. David. He died. That was Ignatius Mason, the police officer,
senior
retired.
officer,
that
yes.
was his brother. The guy who was the first groovy monarch king, I think it was Cameron.
Doggies, yeah.
He was one of the soldiers that got injured.
And hold one moment, Devon. I don't know why someone would try to call at this point in time, but whoever is calling, please desist from doing so while we're having the interview. I'm pretty sure they're listening, and I don't know why they would be hearing this conversation and try to call to cut it. So whoever it is calling, please. We're not taking calls right now. All right, go ahead, Devon. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where, the gun battle started. And, while in the room there, telling you, we had to keep our heads down. Everyone took to the ground because there were gunshots flying all over. At one point in time, I think it was a rocket propelled grenade, and so came through and blew off, I think, the air condition the unit and made a big hole, and a number of persons inside there got injured. Now, you remember that young lady Belma, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was shot while sitting down, while in the ops room. Right? While in the ops room.
So she was in the same room with you when she got shot?
No, she
Oh,
was.
no, she was in a
not
separate room, the room on the other side.
on the other side with
Okay, yeah.
most of the women, the other leaders, and so and everything like that. I got caught right in the middle between that door. They myself and Hippolyte and Porgy and a couple of others. We had to. In fact, they were the ones that took control of the situation. Porgy Sherbin and Lieutenant Hippolyte. And so in terms of calming people down and so, because at one point in time there was so much screaming because there was a young lady, I think her name, if I'm not, correct me if someone listening, I'm calling the wrong name. Her name I think was Edith Ferguson. She got her whole back basically blown off by either a hand grenade or one of the propel grenade that entered inside of the ops room. And so Belma got shot, a number of other persons, Miss Annie Bain, who is still alive and nursing. And this month is not a nice month for her in particular because she had a number of loss. And my sympathies and empathies goes out to the Bain family in particular, on their loss, of for in particular this month, the loss of Mr. Bain and then the son, Peter Bain, and everything like that. It's not a nice month for them. But God is good. But I'm continuing in that, and so a number of persons there got injured, and there was so much screams, ceasefire, everything like that. And one of the things that I heard Morris Bishop said, he turned to one of the soldiers that was Hippolyte, and he said, Bugman, you see what I tell you? They turn the guns on the people. They turn the guns on the masses. So it was a whole chaotic scene inside of that room there. There were a couple of persons who died inside of the room that we saw. There was a soldier by the name of Dorset Peters. He was a communications chief. He basically got his whole face blown off. And so much
and
fine.
all of this is what took place on the fort in Grenada on October 19th.
One of the things that persons continue saying, and we need, that's why we need to have persons giving and talking about the facts and so. When the gunfire started, right, the shots started, there were gunshots from both sides, at the beginning. There were gunshots from both sides, right? The persons from on the fort was fine, and the soldiers were fine, and everything like that. So a number of persons got caught up in the crossfire and lost their life innocently. So we must dispel that notion that, for me in particular, when persons saying that the soldiers came up on the fort, just start shooting down people. No. That was not the case. And who would tell you that for a fact? Right? And so.
Now, Devon, where was Maurice Bishop at this time? The firing is taking place. You're in the ops room. Who else was in that room where you were caught between the two? Where was Maurice and who was with him?
Well, Maurice Bishop, I said he and most of the leaders, Unison Whiteman,
was Jackie Kreff there?
Jacqueline Kreff, Sabine, number of them. They were in the they were moving from room to room, but they were more concentrated in a room with Maurice Bishop and the leaders and so. And when the firing and so everybody, the soldiers, Hippolyte, who took control here and Sheridan, and so told people to stay down and keep quiet and everything like that. And Maurice Bishop and the other leaders was in one room. When the firing and so ceased, right? And so we can hear a voice from outside appealing to us inside to put down our weapons and come out with our hands in the air. And so, again, both Hippolyte and Lieutenant Sherbin, they led that charge in basically gathering the postman. I would say by that time, a number of the other senior soldiers, officers who were in the room with us, right, they basically disappeared. When the firing started, they took cover, and who left from went to go downstairs, who jumped through the window and everything like that. So the only two senior officers that remained inside of the room there with the civilians were Lieutenant Sherbin and Lieutenant Hippolyte. And so on. They were the two basically calming people down and ensuring that, that we follow the orders that was given by the persons outside. And we did exactly as they said. They lined up, got all the women and children. Well, there were a few school children, maybe about 5 or 6 of them that was inside in the room, and a couple of women. And so we get them together, and the leaders, and so on. We were told what to do, and that is, where we started exiting.
Okay, so you're exiting now. How did you exit? What happened from that point on?
Okay, well,
the voice has said, leave your arms, come out. You all,
yes.
Porgy and Bogman have gotten everybody organized. You're leaving now. What took place?
Well, when everything was settled and we got the order, told us, okay, put on our weapons and what, and so well, that was for others. But myself and the police, again, I told you, were 2 persons that came out there with our weapons. And I was in civilian. I was not giving up my weapons. And Lieutenant Sherbin, I think he led one group of persons, right, going down. Bogman insisted that he would stay with Morris Bishop and some of the other leaders. And so, and we started proceeding, opened the door, and started proceeding on the corridor and down the stairs, where I should tell you where we met, one of the first sight that we met going down that stairs there, right at the top, was Vince Noel. Apparently he was cut, across the chest with a machine gun, because the size of hole that you could have seen, and so, and it was not a good sight. And we proceeded and went down the stairs, and so, and at the bottom of the stairs, we were told to go different places. We told the leaders to go on one side, and when we there, Lieutenant Hippolyte told me personally, he said, Devon, that is your time, you can't stay here. And he just pushed me. There was a burning vehicle right there, and just slid me through. And I keep on walking with my hands in the air until I reach right down by the Presbyterian, by the church. And so that was it. That was my time to exit. But it was not a good sight coming down where you see persons lying on the ground. A guy in particular, one of my cousins I saw get shot and killed, Arlene Romaine. It was sad to see me, looking at him. And then there was a gentleman who used to be in the cinema hall in Regal. They call him Saltfish. He used to always steer tickets and so on. He was lying right underneath the flagpole, and so on, and you can see like somebody stand in front of him and basically just empty out an AK-47 or a machine gun, because all you could have seen is little holes in his stomach and so on. I mean, it wasn't a good sight. Who had the stomach with the fright and so? I don't know how to make it, but I know I made it, and I exited, and as a soldier, I had to report to my barracks and so on, and that's what I did. There are a lot of other little things that in between that could be said and that I've missed out, but
you're just giving a brief. You're just giving a brief account tonight.
Yes, And so yes, Sheldon, I mean, it's something that I'm not afraid to speak about. I have nothing to lie about, and I don't care if anybody challenge me or anything like that. Let's speak it out. Let the Grenadian people know exactly what went on the foot from the eyes of persons who were inside of the room and even persons who were outside and had to run and scatter and jump for their lives. I mean, this is a time when we need to share with people the experiences that some of us had and so on, and will help us more to understand our future and even understand more of the revolution and of October 19th in particular.
Because, Devon, I think if people understood, if the group of people, for instance, that decided that we're going to put a celebration to start the 50th anniversary of independence on that date, if the people who made that decision knew or understood what you're speaking about there, or went through the experience themselves, because I think they have a member on the committee that was on the fort on that day at that time, and maybe even a little after you go as well. But that's a discussion we will have otherwise.
Well,
but I can say this.
I will tell you though, watch, and I'll be frank. The chairman of that committee, she should know better. I will tell you that, Ms. Wendy Crawford, right? She should know better in terms of even agreeing to a date like that, because she was basically a young revolutionary, whatever side or way ever she was, but she was there. She was in the forefront of the revolution, so she understands the history of the revolution and leading up to October 19th and October 19th itself. So I was surprised when someone as her would even agree, on a date like that. And so on. It's not, and look, I'll be frank, this is not political. But it's just for persons to be aware, right, of that importance of what people went through. There are people still hurting from that day. They have not been able to bury their loved ones. And another thing that people keep on talking about, hundreds of people died on the fort. Stop spreading that propaganda, that stupidness. If hundreds of people died on the fort, there will be hundreds of families out there still saying that they miss their children, right? Or they had to bury their child. So we must face the facts and understand what went on, help each other to understand it. Share the information. I mean, I am not perfect. There are those out there who help in share. They are not perfect. They may miss out something, right? And so, but let us together as a people, bring some closure. And so let us meet each other halfway. There is too much of division. Like I always tell some of my soldier brothers and so I say, look, I am not going to take part in any activity, right, as a former revolutionary that excludes other soldiers. If we're talking about March 13th, right, we have to include all. Now, when you talk about October 19th and October 25th, yes, persons will have the different feelings and the different positions and things like that. But I just fail to basically be a part of any kind of either commemoration or celebration on these two particular days for my own personal reasons.
Of course.
So I just decided, because I've never, since after October 19th, 1983, Sheldon, believe it or not, I have never went to any celebration or any commemoration on the fort. And I tell you no lie.
Well, Devon, now the day itself is a holiday. Having gone through what you went through, do you agree with the day being a holiday?
Personally, Just hold on a minute, Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah, my personal view of that, I have no problem in the day being hot because for a number of years, a lot of us soldiers, revolutionaries, we wanted to see something being done for October 19th, right? Those of us who were on different sides on that day. When I say sides, I mean not, well, by the soldiers, other soldiers were caught up, and then you have supporters of Morris Bishop and everything like that. But we were clamoring for a day that, a holiday for that day, and for a number of different reasons. And yes, and I agree, I like the holiday for it, but I think the holiday was given not for the right reason, in my view.
You think it's more political consideration than
Yes.
actual commemoration of
Yes.
of what took place? Because it shouldn't be a day that you're having fete and boat ride and cruise and them kind of thing. It should
Not
be
a
a
day you could water
reflective
down.
day. Yeah, it should be a reflective
not
day.
a day you could water down. It is time for our leaders and persons who know better to treat our history with respect and so on. Stop using it as a political football. And in my view, that is what was being tried. But thank God that there are voices out there, right, who are prepared to go on the air and who write and be vocal of not mixing those. You cannot start our 50th anniversary independence on a day when a number of Grenadians died. What is the significance? What is the correlation with that? You understand? You're creating a disrespect for a group of people. You're creating friction. Instead of you bringing people together and trying to harmonize this whole thing, you basically creating division. What about the persons who went through hell during the revolution and was glad that October 19th happened and October 25th, right? Because of what they went through, they had the experience, And so we had to consider all that. But I'm just glad that good sense prevail and they move that whole launch of our independence from October 19th.
All right, Devon, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak to us tonight. I know what it does to you. I know it's never an easy thing to do. But considering that you might be going to some of the schools and speaking on this issue.
I would hope that one or two of the persons they invite me. I would hope that they would get the permission, and they would allow me to share my experience with the younger ones. Whenever I think, because we keep hiding our history and distorting our history to our young ones. When you know, nobody cannot take that away from you. Let's share what we know.
Of course. Devon, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and do try to enjoy the rest of your night. Try to. I know, Papa, I know. Try to enjoy.
You stored up a whole, but you know what? I've become accustomed to that.
I did it on purpose, because if you have to go out to the schools, Devon, you have to get accustomed to being able to relive it. You have to get into that
one
mode.
Time, a couple of years ago, I had an experience with some young people in a church. They just called me off of the bat and said, "Look, Mr. Roman, we'd like for you to share that with the younger ones." And I mean, it was an amazing experience. Anyhow, Mr. Scott, thanks for the opportunity for sharing, and I hope I could assist in any way possible, sharing my experience on that particular day.
And pest control, to F 403-2652. Pest control.
403-2652, reliable services.
Of course. All right, brother. You
One
enjoy
love.
your say night. All right.
Take care.
Yes, indeed, folks. Yeah. No, and I purposely asked him those questions because I wanted people to understand the event that took place, and some people decided that was a day to go and put a celebration, because you couldn't be launching the 50th anniversary of independence and do so without celebration. And I found that to be a disrespect to the people who died on the fort that day, the people who survived the events on the fort that day, and the people who lost all the things that they lost on that day. I found it to be unfair to them and their families and their memories. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
I hope it wasn't you that was only calling while I'm talking to Devon, you know.
Yes, it was me.
No, but how you could be doing, how could I be interviewing somebody and you're calling like that?
Yes, sorry about that. But
No, but I even said,
I wasn't getting on the program on my phone. I wasn't getting the program on my phone, so I couldn't hear who he was interviewing.
No. You have to do better than that, man. You know me does other stock playing. You have to do better than that.
Yes.
But go right ahead. Let's hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Sheldon, I want you to solve a few murders in this country for me, you know.
Me?
Yeah, man. You go solve it. I put in you as a detective and the judge and everything surrounding some cases. And that's the reason why I call in. And I am going to call on the Grenadian people to support me with that. You know, a lot of people in this country is taking rap for a lot of so-called well-to-do or big people in our country.
I don't know that.
Well,
if I were to know that, I would have to go to the Royal Grenada Police Force and I would have to explain to them which cases, and I don't know that. I may suspect that. I may have very good reason to believe that.
Okay.
I may even fully believe and understand that can be the case in several instances.
Right.
But if I were to make a statement and say that I know that now, you trying to make me end up in the police hand.
No. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
So let's be careful. Nice. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you know, one thing that will solve all those cases in our dear country, are talking like Rolo now, in this your country, is that the judges must start executing people who take in the rap for individuals. So when the sentence is handed down, and they know that you have 3 months to leave, no money could make you say who is the real culprit behind the scenes. Because your life is at stake now. And this is serious issue. I ain't talking revolutionary. I ain't talking socially. I'm talking about logistics. Judges, I hope you all there and listening to this year program. It's time to take the law is there. It's time to implement the law. And stop giving people 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 10 years for murder that they did not commit. Let them know from the onset that you are sentenced to death by hanging. And you will, in instant, you will hear they want to speak to the lawyer. And the lawyer will put forth another fight in the case. And you're going to get the real culprit behind a lot of murders in this year country.
All right, my brother. Thank you so very much for your call.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and make sure next time that you're calling that you're listening what's going on the program before you call. Yeah, let's just do things the proper way. Nice? Good. So that we wouldn't have what happened there a little earlier. We wouldn't have that happening again. 4407377. I know someone was trying to call me on the WhatsApp. Let me see if I can get back at the WhatsApp caller. Let me see if I can get through to them. All right. Yes, folks. And 4407377. We've got our caller on the WhatsApp. Hello, good night.
Yo.
Hey,
Good
yes,
night,
sir. Hey, sir.
Tonight is a hot one. I meant to go tonight, but I have to contain my talking point tonight. I'm glad that Devon, our mutual friend, no name, sorry, was on earlier on, and he said
Where's
what he
Devon?
said, and because I was calling him for 2 weeks now to light him up, because there's another radio host who has been saying certain things on his program. I called him yesterday to take. To take a turn in his butt based on certain things he's saying, right? And he's saying the things he's saying in accordance against the fact that they announced Maurice Bishop as a national hero. And from the day he read that article, he has been, Maurice Bishop is a murderer. Come on. We know there was certain negatives in the revolution. Nobody's saying no. But let's put that aside for now. The gentleman spoke a while ago talking of the fact of the crime and the people behind the crime and the judges and things. I would like to take this moment to remind all nation people. When they had the referendum where they could amend the laws, they voted no. A judge can hand down sentence because of how he or she feel towards a crime. It has to do with the Constitution. So if we in Grenada and Carriacou, Petit Martinique find the sentences doesn't fit the crime, the next referendum, stand up and be counted and vote to get those laws amended. All right? Because no matter who the prime minister is, they can't change the law. And the prime minister of the country cannot tell the judges how to sentence someone. Remember the case when the person left New York, came to Grenada. They had a case in molestation with the kid, and Grenadians was up in arms. They give him Keith Mitchell and them give him a slap on the wrist, and they let him go and whatever. And then the RGPF got in touch with the NYPD based on certain agreements that Grenada and the US had signed in collaboration with what they call international crimes. And he was picked up in America, in Brooklyn, tried, and ended up getting 30 years. So if they want the 30 years sentence to be effective in Grenada, amend the law. When the time come around for a referendum to make these changes, stand up, be brave, forget the political partisan bull crap you all believe in, and amend the law. Because it's not about the party, it's not about politics, it's about the constitution of every Grenadian. I spoke yesterday on Mr. Pierre program, and I said one of the things that Grenadians today has forgotten, the only reason kids today and parents today are getting a certain level of education, secondary education, without having to pay a tuition is because of the revolution. Somebody called right after and say, that man believe as though he was the last man to get that certificate. That is not the point. The point was, up until before the revolution, average Grenadians' parents couldn't afford GBSS and the different secondary schools. If you have one kid in that school already, you can't pay for two more. If your parents working in Hibiscus Inn or whatever, they are policemen or women in the police force, and you have one kid in high school, in Anglican High School or Convent or PBC or GBSS, and your second kid passed common entrance, you can afford to pay for two of them. But the revolution changed that. And it's changed up until today. So the whole nation has benefited tremendously. Now, what they do with it is up to them. I had a conversation with a young man Monday morning in Grenada. He working in class code factory. I have a family there, and he tell me, hey boy, family member working. And we having a conversation, and he don't know the significance of October 19. He can't even tell me what is independence. And he in too long graduated out of secondary school. That is embarrassing. That's just mind-boggling. It is. And as I said on the program yesterday, this man beating up on Morris Bishop, yes, the revolution had a lot of negatives. But at the same token, there were people that was renegaded soldiers. There was PRAs that did things, and whoever did things, it wasn't under instructions. But at the same token, whoever was the leader get the blame. And I ask, what happened October, Bloody Monday? What happened to all the other incidences under the...
What I'd cover the entire thing and say is simply this. Different people have different views. You cannot expect everybody to have the same view as you. You have your views of the revolution. People who believe that they suffered under the revolution have their views
under
of
the
it.
revolution. Yeah, and
Hold on. And you cannot be upset with them for their views. They know what they went through.
No. It's not a matter of
you know what you went
it's
through.
Not a matter of
but
being
I get the impression from you like you find they shouldn't be saying that. But that's their impression.
I am speaking of a radio host. I'm not speaking of the people. I'm speaking of a radio host who was making certain comments.
But,
right?
they're making that based on their experience.
Right. But you're putting down one leader, but you're uplifting another leader who committed atrocities the same way. Who was the person responsible for Morris Bishop's death, father's death? Who was responsible for the brutality of the leaders of the New Jewry movement? Who were the people who were responsible for even my grandfather getting beaten, walking from Mali to Chantimel? They beat him to a pulp, and he was a member of their party. These things happened. But you're taking one spectrum and you're making that just one, the mainstream of your conversation.
Well, you see, this comes back to the same issue that I've raised before on this program, that before we say what Grenadian history is, we have to settle on what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for some people, some leaders are heroes. And for other people, those leaders are the devil incarnate. And before we settle on what our Grenadian history is, an honest telling of different events and so on must take place. An honest telling, the way that Devon would come out and say, this is what took place. He will call names. He will say, this is who I see, etc. And others,
not to jump.
Hold on, others need to do the same.
Right, and not to just jump you. Even when you hear some people have a version of it, you educate them on the. Once you know what you're speaking is fact, they may not take it, right? But you have to put it out there. So some people might understand and say, you know what? But I've been hearing this. That's what I believe all the time. But now I'm hearing this, and I've heard some people said something. So now this is beginning to make sense. So you give people information where they could research, inform themselves, and have a better understanding of things. But let me school you on something. Grenadians, our country people, have a tendency to behave like the Republicans in America. No matter what the Republican Party do, he don't care. They're right. Any other body do it, they're wrong. Okay? Grenadians has a tendency to be very revengeful, and have a tendency to be bad-minded.
My brother, you're a Grenadian as well, and you know we good, eh?
I am.
You know we good.
We are good.
But I can't agree with you saying that about my people. I can't agree. No, brother, we good, we cool. No, we good, we good, we cool.
Okay,
but I cannot sit here.
Let me finish.
No, again you 30 seconds because I cannot sit here and allow you to say that about Grenadians.
I have a friend who right now, because they support the party right now, and what is being happening to their family, they agree with it. It's like it's no big deal. Mm-hmm. It's no big deal. Their family is victimized. Mm-hmm. their mouth shut. And when you talk to them, like, yo, bro, how you could? Well, they back the other party and it's good for them. The man saying that about his brother. Good for you and your wife because they back that party. So how you can tell me that what I've seen is wrong, man? Come on. Come on. Anyway,
brother,
have a good night.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you know me already. I ain't gonna tolerate that. Yeah, nah. Not my Grenadian people. Because other people from other countries listening and then they go save die what Grenadians saying about themselves. You understand? We can't do that. Nah. Seeing a message here, Sheldon, based on my reflections, the first shot came from a red young man, can't remember his name, and that caused the death of Mears. I got shot also. I was in the demonstration from the start, all through town up to Mount Welldale, up to the fort. I am ready for an interview anytime. I will take you up on that close to the 19th, my brother. Another message here, October 19, God was with me that day. My cousin Alan Romaine got shot standing right next to me. Yeah, he was shot and killed on the fort. That was a school, a student. Yeah, and he got shot right on, I wasn't there. I was nowhere wrong. I wasn't even on the island. All right, so I can't talk about these things as from that point. All right, but this individual was standing next to Alan Romaine when he got shot and killed. And you have the other individual that was shot himself. And I definitely will be interviewing you. So I will be calling you within the next week or so, and we will be having that conversation. Tell your wife I say good night. I know she's somewhere there in the live. All right, yeah, and I'll say this, people have their opinions. People have their opinions on everything. Not everybody like the same sports team. Not everybody like the same cricket team. It have West Indians who don't like the West Indies cricket team, who will support another team against. No, seriously. There are West Indians who do not support the West Indies cricket team. They are West Indians, but they don't support the West Indies cricket team, they'll support the next team. People have their opinions, and you cannot be upset with a person for having their opinions. Their opinions are based on the circumstances of which they have found themselves over a period of time, their interactions, etc. Their opinions are based on, might even be their religion. It might be based on the school that they went to, the community they come from, the family they come from. So you have to take all of that into consideration before you say that a person shouldn't say this or shouldn't say it. No, they have their opinion and they say it. All right? Yeah. 440-7377. I think we're going to be able to take one more. Yeah, one more call before we end tonight. So 440-7377 before we end for tonight. All right? And folks, over the weekend, I'm going to try to get some more information. Yeah, try to get some more information. Right? Right. So Aline, sorry, not Alan, Aline. Right, Romaine. So folks, 440-7377. We still have a few minutes. Going to be able to take, I think, one more call before we end tonight's program. Yeah, I didn't intend to really talk about October 19th and so, but I think it was necessary. You have to let people understand. Let people understand what took place, how it affected people. And that was the day, because that's why I said that the government lacks emotional intelligence. They don't know what it is to have sympathy or empathy for people. So it is easy for them to do things like say, okay, the NNP gave you 150, but we could take that away from you, and not see how that affects that person on a physical level, on a social level, on an economic level, on a psychological level. They don't see how that affects that individual, and they don't care how that affects that individual. So it's easy for them. It's easy for them to decide that, we're going to take that 150 from that person. It's easy for them to take somebody off the list and say to themselves, well, that person was placed on the list under the New National Party. We have people to place under the list, so we could take out them people who were placed by NNP and put somebody else. It's easy for them to take a house from somebody who really needs it in Carriacou, to just take the house and say, well, procedurally, there was wrong in giving you the house. And so, no, if there's a procedural problem, that's the housing authority's problem. That's the housing authority. Sort your problem out. But the person has received a document from the government of Grenada that they have been selected for that home. They did what they're supposed to do. They applied. They were selected. Hence, they were given a letter that says that it belongs to them. So you can't come to pressure them. You can't come to punish them because of a mistake that was made by the housing authority. If indeed a mistake was made, because as far as I'm concerned, no mistake was made. They lie. That's as far as I'm concerned. So we have these situations that have been taking place. And it shows a lack of emotional intelligence. You call the Minister of Health in relation to a problem that's affecting the people of St. Andrew, the big parish. They don't call it big parish just for that, you know. They call it big parish because it's the biggest parish. You have 4 constituencies within there. So you telling me Toes can't talk on behalf of the people of the big parish? You telling me Gloria can't say nothing? Where's the other one name? The one that Emlyn beat like a bongo drum in a Rastaman dance day. What's his name? Oh gosh, he's so forgettable, I even forget his name. I think he's the Minister of Education, yeah. So you telling me none of them can make a plea to try and properly staff Princess Alice Hospital or come up with some kind of, to try and help the people of St. Andrew? So the people of St. Andrew, instead of going to the health facility within St. Andrew, would have to leave and come down to the main facility down in town. And even when they reach down there, they have to hope that they could get taken care of down there. So you ask the minister could not know. That's a major issue. That ain't no joke issue. That is a major issue. That is not like they didn't take up garbage this morning. That is a major issue. That is a staffing issue. And it has percolated and circulated over social media. So it's not something that people could say they didn't know. It's been all over. So they can't come and say that they did not know about it. But to come and say, well, speak to this one and speak to that one. You're the minister and you want to be minister and just Mr. Minister. And all you want to pull tie in all your neck, up in all your neck and thing. Jump plane, jump train. Yeah? Jump in vehicle and be driven. If you're a minister, take the minister responsibilities. You're supposed to know when urgent things like this are happening. No media entity. If you want to tell the media entity, I shall contact you a little later on with more information in relation to this. It is being addressed. You know, sometimes you have to tell them how to talk. It is being addressed. That is one thing. But to try and palm it off and say, well, no, you call the hospital administrator. And the hospital administrator is saying, well, no, call the PS. So ring around the rosies. Yeah? Meanwhile, while all of that titivation is taking place, the people of St. Andrew are receiving substandard medical care. Substandard. Because they don't have the component of nurses and even doctors that they're supposed to have. I know over the years you've had a problem when it comes to having doctors work in St. Andrew and in Carriacou as well. You've had a problem. You would try to get a doctor to go there and they would try everything legally possible not to have to go and work in St. Andrew. Because probably they have a private practice somewhere in St. George, so they want to be at the general hospital where they could go up, spend the time, and then run down to their own private practice and so they don't want to be based in St. Andrew. Yeah? You have the same situation with some who were sent to Carriacou and they're supposed to go to Carriacou, but they don't want to be based in Carriacou because they want to run a private practice in St. George. They want to be in Grenada and in St. George, so they don't want to be based in Carriacou. So you've had the problem where they don't want to go and those kind of problems taking place over the years. That has been a constant thing. Yeah? But now to see the situation with the nurses, until you have to put up a notice, you're only dealing with accident and emergency. And so it says that this situation is getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah? And folks, I did say last night, and somebody's reminding me there, I did say last night that I was going to deal with somebody tonight. But you know what I realized at the end of the day? Some people want to use attacking me and attacking the program as a means of trying to build back theirs. So because they've seen their numbers go down and continuing to go down, they want to get into a back and forth with Sheldon Scott and Talking Points, hoping that if they get into a conflict with me and we are back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, that what would happen, that people would go to look at them to see what they have to say and then come and look at me to see what I have to say, so they get to build back an audience. I've decided against it. It didn't make sense going down that road with them. Because when I see people posting stupidness about who has the bigger audience and that kind of thing, it says something on a psychological level about the individual. It says that they are not only losing ground, but it seems as though the little piece of mind that they had left, that they're losing that too. They already didn't have any dignity, morality, or common sense. But it seems as though after losing all of that, they're trying to lose their mind as well. So they would proceed to continue to try to attack, hoping that I would fall into the trap and get into a back and forth with them. So it would be a case where they would say, and then people run here to hear what I have to say, and then I start to throw word for them, and then people run from here to go and hear how they respond, and that sort of thing, to try and build back their audience. Yeah? And we ain't giving them it. We ain't giving them it. I have all the documents here, things to put up, and I ain't giving them it. Because after that, people go want to run to see what they had to say, and then want to come back. No. And meanwhile, the main issues that affect the people of Grenada, like the healthcare, the main issues that affect the people of Grenada, like the pest infestation in the school and those sort of things, would end up being left alone while I am wasting time dealing with these people. I am falling into that trap. That individual, yes, Kem Jones, could go to hell. Folks, that's all the time we have for the program tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you, and whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. I am out of here. That's it for this week. That's it for tonight. We have a wonderful program planned for you for Monday, so tune in from earlier. Folks, I am out.